All right. The test mirrors the homework in that they're multiple choice. So you're not going to see the exact same questions with the exact same numbers per se. You follow me?
Uh-huh.
But the DNA of the test is exactly the DNA of the homework. So as far as having your notes ready for the exam, I would have the PDF solutions. And then in many times as we move forward, well, the first two or three chapters, I mean, it's just basically definitions and the like. But as we get into chapter four, probability, I've got screenshots of how, me using the TI calculator. I've got screenshots of how the example was done. So that is helpful because you're going to see something very similar to it. Similar in the essence that the DNA will be the same, the question will be the same, but it won't be the same numbers per se. That makes sense?
Yes.
So as far as printing PowerPoints, it's up to you. If you want, how much material do you want to have in front of you?
Yeah. That's what I was trying to. I was printing everything and I was trying to find a way of what I could slim it down because trying to have all that with the test, I'm like, that's not going to help me.
Let me ask you a question. Is this your first time taking a 5-week course?
Sure is.
You jumped in both feet, huh?
We sure did.
Yeah.
There's
Danielle, how are you? Kelsey, hello. Lucima, I guess if I'm not pronouncing that. Let me just tell you, I've got two different classes here going. I've got the 10-week session going on and the 5-week. So what I'm here to do is to answer any questions in general about how the course is running. And then specifically, if you have a question pertaining to a particular homework example, I can call it up and we can talk about it. But realize it. Right.
The only thing you grade is just only the test, like homework and
No,
anything
I
else is
graded
great,
on how
right?
many gifts you send me via email. Yeah, that's all I grade. Here again, homework is not collected, so I can't very well collect something and grade something that I don't collect, right?
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? And I just explained to Kerry that the exam mirrors the homework.
And for yes, and for the
Breaking up horribly. Can't hear you. Where
let
are
me
you? I can see you're at work somewheres. Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to connect to my phone. I'm at work right now. I'm trying to connect to my phone because my internet is unstable.
Yeah. And your
Okay.
question was?
For the test, we can access our notes, right?
Yeah, you have notes in front of you. You just can't go anywhere. Make sure. Yeah, of course you have your notes in front of you. I couldn't stop that if I wanted to. Why would I want to do that? It's open notes. If you were in class, you'd be having open notes as well. But I'll reiterate, and I send another email. It's very important that you take the practice quiz because you need to download Lockdown Browser. All right, because when the
The
exam,
lockdown browser is gonna use the cameras or it's not required?
no, I don't need to
Okay.
see you. Trust me.
Okay.
No, I don't want to invade your privacy. Lockdown Browser, I'll be very, very upfront. There's been so much cheating with AI. All
Yeah.
right. So it's just the way that professors and what Massasoit is doing, and you may see this if you're going to be around for a couple more semesters, is that eventually what they'll do in online courses, they'll have on-campus exams. It's just
Oh,
it's just what AI is doing, not only in English classes and science classes and sociology, but also in math classes. All right. It's just rampant. So to protect ourselves, so to speak, and make a level playing field for all students, this is why we're using Lockdown Browser. Now you may have seen this before, but you're going to see a lot more professors using it. But in order to take the exam, you have to have it installed in your computer. All right. So when you take the first exam, it'll say download Lockdown Browser. You say, well, I've already done it, but one of the options is to study. It'll say, have you got Lockdown Browser already installed? click here to start the test. And what that does is it prevents anybody from going off and opening up Google or basically, I'll be very
Yeah,
honest, opening up AI.
I just finished a math class that we have to use the lockdown browser for the
Well, you got
test,
it
but
already installed in your computer then.
she did require the cameras though.
Who? Oh no, I don't need to see anybody. I mean, what do I do next? Go to your house and watch you take the test? No.
Yeah.
But eventually, what you're going to see in the upper level courses, which kind of defeats the purpose of an online course, especially, during the summertime, I've got students from out of state taking courses. So what we have to do in that instance, they have to go to a nearby college and arrange to have me send that college the exam. It gets proctored there, and then somebody on the other end sends it back to me. It's a hassle, but
Yeah,
it is
like
what it
I'm
is.
2 hours away from Massasoit, so if I have to go to Massasoit, it'll be very complicated. And that's why I do online class.
Where do you live?
I live in West Brookfield.
Where?
West Brookfield?
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, in towards New Hampshire.
Okay. Kelsey, Danielle, any questions?
Hi, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. I have some
I'm just,
questions.
ladies, I'm just Carrie and Maria. I'm just kind of moving around, just talking to everybody. All right.
I was wondering if you could please like kind of go over some of the differences between stratified versus cluster sampling.
The main thing is they're very similar, cluster and stratified. Strata would be, the difference would be, let's say I've got a high school, and the different strata would be the, male students or female students. A better example would be freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. That would classify as being strata. Now, when I survey, I take an X amount of so many people from the freshman class, the sophomore class, the junior class, and the senior class. How you'll notice the difference between a strata and a cluster is when we're doing cluster sampling, you pick a cluster and you survey everyone. All right. As soon as you see the word I'm surveying everyone, you know it's cluster sampling. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm only taking a certain percentage of, cluster sampling would be, let's say I take all different counties in Massachusetts, Bristol and Norfolk, whatever. All right. The clusters self-identify themselves. In cluster sampling, I would choose 5 of those different territories, but counties, and survey everybody in those, as opposed to stratified. I would take a certain percentage of Norfolk and a certain percentage in Bristol. You follow me? The word all is the key word that signifies it's cluster versus stratified. That helpful?
Okay. Thank you. I had
You're
another
welcome.
question. I was just
Gee,
kind of
Kelsey,
getting hung
you're
up.
kind of going overboard now, aren't you, Kelsey?
Sorry, I had a list written down.
Good.
Ratio. I was kind of getting hung up on like the ratio versus the other options. Like nominal, ordinal, interval.
Normal is just a
ratio.
level, just a name. All right. It's like, am I a Democrat? Am I a Republican? My name is John. Your name is Kerry. Ordinal, the best way to is the example of ordinal would be good, better, and best, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. Now you get to ratio. Ratio means a ratio makes sense. How can I say ratio? In fact, let me do this. Let me go to, if I'm not mistaken, that's section 2.3. Trying to think, what question? What do you have your paper in front of you?
I just have some notes.
Hold on, let
I
me
think
just see
it
if I.
was chapter 1.
1, 2. Let me see. Let me take a peek here.
I think it was 1.2.
Yeah, I've got 1, 2 open now. Let me just take a peek here. If anybody has it in front of them. Yeah, I've got simple, ramp, convenience, systematic, stratified, and cluster in 1, 2. But I don't see ratio in 1, 2.
think it's the 20th slide.
20th, okay. Now I'm seeing convenient sampling in 1, 2 on 20th slide. Two, 1. Let me take add 2, 1. That's midpoints. If anybody can find where oh, it's in 1, 1. Very first one. All right, let me share the screen here. And that's not what I wanted. Stop share. Here's my PowerPoint. You should be seeing it now. Are you
Yeah.
seeing the PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We go right to the top here. All right, nominal. Just a label. Okay. I got some names of different tribes here. Here again, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, someone's Irish, someone is Mexican. Just a label. Can't do anything with it. No, there's no mathematical operation you can do with a nominal level of measurement. All right, the ordinal. I can put them in order, but the differences don't make any differences aren't meaningful. For instance, class rank. Somebody may be fifth in class, someone may be sixth, but the difference in their GPA is you don't know because further down the list, if I'm the 22nd person and you're the 23rd, the difference in our GPA is really it's meaningless. The best example of ordinal is good, better, and best. You know, how much 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. Well, I know a 2-star restaurant is better than a 1-star restaurant, but the difference is not you can't determine what is the salt is better or the bread is better, whatever. The next one you're talking about is ordinal. All right. When you see class ranking, I'm sorry, I want to go to ratio. That's what I wanted to go. Well, before I get to ratio, interval. Whenever you see temperature, dates and time, time of day, all right, these are examples, classic examples of the interval level of measurement. All right, I know, how can I say, when it's 40 degrees, it's 20 degrees warmer than when it's 20 degrees. But 40 degrees doesn't mean there's twice as much heat. Make sense? Time of day. I mean, time doesn't start with 0, so I can't say at 4 o'clock it's twice the amount of time. Time of day, dates and time, classic examples of interval level. Now, when something passes everything else, it falls into the last level, which is ratio. By that I mean if my room is 3 feet wide and somebody's room is 6 feet wide. It makes sense that something 6 foot wide is twice as long. I use the example of a trout here. If I have an 18-inch trout, all right, it's 3 times as long. A ratio makes a difference. Ratios are meaningful. So you go through the list. You start with the lowest, and if it meets every other criteria, then finally you end up with the last one, which is the ratio level. Now, if I can call up a problem from section 1.1 and 1.2 and see an example here, if I can share the screen. Want to stop sharing that and share this one. Here we go, right here. All right, temperatures. Midnight sea temperature, I know it's an interval level of measurement. Salaries. Now, why is salaries ratio? Well, it meets the first. You know, I can have a label. Mr. Gomes makes 4,000. Professor Smith makes 8,000. It's a label. All right. I can put them in order. All right. Differences are meaningful. All right. And then why is it ratio? Because if I make 8,000 and somebody makes 4,000, I make twice as much. You see where ratio makes sense? Hello?
Yeah.
All right. Here again, temperature. Temperature is interval level. Minute I see temperature, I know it's interval. All right. Age. Well, why is age ratio? Does it make sense if someone is 30 years old, they're twice as old as someone that's 15 years old? It meets the highest level. If I'm 30 years old, aren't I twice as old as someone that's 15 years old? Ratios make sense.
Yes.
All right. A, B, C, that's ordinal. It meets the nominal level and it meets the ordinal. I can put him in order. Someone that gets an A is better than someone that gets a B, but differences aren't meaningful because I could have an A at 95 and you could have a B that's let's say an 82. So I don't really know the difference between the two grades. What I'm trying to point out here, there are certain examples that the minute you see it, you know it's either the nominal, interval, ordinal, or ratio level. Ratio would be ratios make sense, fractions make sense. I'll put it that way. Hope that helps.
Guys, thank you.
All right.
I did have one more question, if it's not too
Let me
many.
go to Danielle. I'll come back to you. Danielle's been
No
waiting very
problem.
patiently.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm good.
Come on, Danielle. All right, Kelty.
Woo, okay, my last question.
No, yeah, no, I'm not being fresh. I just want to get Danielle involved before she falls asleep over there.
Of course. I noticed that we're focusing a lot on like section 1.1 and 1.2, but it does go up to like 1.6. Do those last four, like, should we be focusing a lot on like 1.3 to
No,
1.6?
the readings. I put the readings there just for what happens is the textbook readings don't always agree with what I've got for PowerPoint. You follow me? So if you don't see it, if it's not mentioned in my homework, you're not going to be quizzed on it. Follow me? The readings there are actually from another textbook. All right. I haven't picked everything. If it says 1.6, it may be on ratio and nominal, but it's just labeled something different. The number doesn't always agree with my PowerPoint. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Doesn't coincide exactly.
okay.
I don't know what
Thank
1.6
you.
was all about, by the way. Let me take a peek at it in the readings. Modules, PowerPoints. Yeah, I provide them there, but yeah, sampling element. I have no idea what sampling element is all about. If you don't see anything mentioned in my PowerPoints, anything about sampling elements, you're not going to be quizzed on it. The only thing you're going to be quizzed on, look at the homework assignment. Anything that's in the homework assignment, you're responsible for. You follow me? I'm not going to give you anything you haven't seen in the homework. Fair?
Okay.
That would be slightly unfair if I gave you a question out of and I haven't talked about it. If it's not in the PowerPoint specifically, here's what I do. When I'm making up the exam, I look at the homework. For instance, when we're talking about measures of central tendency, whatever, I may pick problem 1 and 3 for the homework, and from the exam, I'll pick problem 2 and 4. So it's coming out of the same. It's coming out of the same question bank, so to speak. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to spit out. If you don't see it in the homework, you won't see it on the exam. Danielle, does that
Awesome,
make
thank
sense to
you.
you? You look a little confused. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I was just looking back. I have the like syllabus and everything up, so I was just looking back at it.
Is this your first online course?
Yeah.
You decided to take a 5-week to top it off.
I'll get through it. Don't worry.
No, I'm just like I say, my opening remarks were the good news is you do it in 5 weeks. The bad
Mhm.
news is you're gonna do it in 5 weeks.
Mm.
So Kelsey went away. We answered all of Kelsey's questions and then we can't see her anymore. All right, thanks a lot, Kelsey.
Thank you, Professor. I'm just at work, but I still have,
Where are
I'm
you? Where do
still
you work?
listening.
Where do you work?
I work in an orthodontic office in Boston.
Okay. And I see Maria is an RN. Maria, why are you taking stats? You're already an RN.
I'm going on to a master's program.
Fantastic.
I did my last stats over 7 years ago, so I need a refresher.
Okay. I see a lot of people in the health field because we need people in the health. I mean, doctors are getting older, and a lot of these hospitals we go to, there's less and less doctors. And of course, being so close to Boston, I mean, all the best hospitals actually in the world, it's a great profession to be in. In fact, in a little while, since I'm done with this, I got to take my wife for some blood work. Our calendar at my age, our calendar looks like doctor's appointments. It's either doctor's appointments or dental appointments or bring the cat to the vet. Gary, anything else?
Yes, of course I have a question.
Sure.
In the chapter 2, homework, can you just review question 9?
Which one? 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3.
It was just the homework part of it.
Yeah, I understand, but the homework there's a 2, 1 homework and there's a 2, 2, 2, 3 homework.
Oh, then the 2, 1.
Give me a sec.
Question 9 about relative frequency
Yeah, give me a
distribution.
sec. Oh, actually, the homework is now. You're right. The homework is all put together. It's all 2, 1, 2, 2, and
Okay,
2,
I
3.
was like, oh shoot, did I mix it up and miss so much?
No, no, you're right. I'm wrong.
Okay.
First time I'm wrong today. I'm sure it'll be more. 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. And which question?
Question 9, please.
Mhm. Yeah, the key thing here is you're looking for a relative frequency means it's a percentage. But in order to come up with a percentage, you need to know the total. And suspiciously here, the total's not given to you. Let's say in class, I've got, 20 people and 7 of them are men. Well, the frequency would be 7 over the total of 20. You need to know the total. This is why I gave you the total here. All right. And I'm looking for the relative frequency of the first. Well, I'm looking for the whole chart. So what I did, I took the very first interval, all right, between 200 and 300. It was 60. 60 over 328 is 0.1829, which translated into a decimal. Move the point 2 places to the right. Now, the minute I see this is the correct one, there's no need of me doing the others because that one was wrong, that one was wrong, and that one was wrong. You follow me? Once I got one of them right, I know the rest of them are going to be right. Make sense? But the hidden part here is you need to know the total. Well, how do I get the total? I just simply added up those 5 numbers and came up with 328. Relative frequency would be 60. If I did 73 over 328, I would have gotten 22.6, but I didn't need to. Once I saw this was the correct one, right? I knew all the others were wrong.
Yeah, I think that's where I got caught up in. I was like, what do I divide it by? And then obviously now now that I'm looking at it again, it's the 60.
I could have put 15 over 328 and come up with 4.57. You follow me?
Yes.
This was the easiest because it was the very first one. That's why I chose that one.
Perfect.
Make
That
sense?
makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. While we're here, anybody else have a question on 2, 1, 2, 2, and 2, 3? While I'm sharing my screen.
Do you mind just reviewing just like the pie charts? Like maybe the percentage?
Where are we on the pie chart? Which one?
17 or 18?
Okay, let me share that back if I'm not sharing it again. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing the worksheet?
We don't see it, no.
Don't see it. Okay. Cancel. Let me close this up. I want to share and you'll be seeing it now. Ladies, you're seeing it now.
Yes.
Yes, there.
And which number?
18 if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm asking you a survey of 3,367 vehicles. And the question is, find a number of vans. Well, vans represent 8%. All right. So if the total number of all these different vehicles is 3,367, 8% of those are vans. Well, 8% of 3,367 is 269.4. Well, obviously, I'm not going to, this is a 0.4, so I'm going to round it down to 269. If he had asked me how many hatchbacks, I would have taken 32% of 3,367. You follow? He'd asked me for convertibles, I would have taken, 15% of what? Of the total. 15%, 0.15 times of means times, right? Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Pretty straightforward, right? You know what's interesting? You don't mind sometimes when you're taking a test and you see you got a very difficult one wrong, maybe maybe next to last problem. But doesn't it bother you when you get something really straightforward and you get the wrong answer? You go, what was I thinking? Like, duh, that was an easy one. And you're gonna find this first exam. Well, I'll say it this way. For the people that are in the 5-weeker, the first 3 chapters 1 and chapter 2 is as straightforward as you can get, nominal, ordinal, whatever. Chapter 4 is all that in a bag of chips. This is why, I do 4-1 and 4-2 in exam 1, and then I do 4-3 to exam 2. People that are in the 10-week course, chapter 4 is a test all by itself, and I'm not sure how many people are in the 10-weeker. Lucima, you in the 10-weeker? All right, so chapter 4 is all by itself. Everybody else is in the 5-weeker. Chapter 4, it starts to get grimy. Now, I want to ask another question. Have you ladies all secured a TI?
I have one, yep.
Yeah, I have one.
I still have my
Kelsey?
TI 83 plus, but seems to be working okay so far.
Yeah, well, you're gonna find issues because when we get to chapters 5 and 6, there's gonna be differences on how the 84 does it in 83. For instance, when we start coming up with confidence intervals, the 84 will prompt you for the lower limit, the upper limit, the mean, and the standard deviation. On the 83, you have to know to put in the lower first, followed by a comma, then the upper. It doesn't prompt you like the 84 does. To be quite honest with you, for a $20 bill, I wouldn't hassle it. I mean, $20, you can't buy 2 Big Macs these days. 2 for $20. You follow me? The 83, I have videos that tell you the difference between the 83 and 84. And then, but you gotta watch the video. And the 84, how can I say, the 84 spoon feeds you. It tells you, hey, put this in, put that in, put the other thing in. The 83, you have to remember in which order. You have to separate the numbers with a comma. There are discrepancies. All right. So it's up to your decision. But in my way of thinking, for a $20 bill, and they're gonna bill you anyways, I'd go and get an 84. Now, they've changed. I just found out a gentleman was trying to go online and get an appointment, all right? And I went on it and there was no appointments. So I called the library. Oh, we don't do it that way anymore. Well, it'd be nice if you told somebody, all right? What they do now, you just go to the library, you fill out the form, there's no appointment needed. All right, but that all changed, and no one, the library never informed anybody. If you ladies all have it, you're in good shape. And hopefully you've taken the practice quiz, because you have now, you already have. Now, when the first quiz comes about on 6 and 9, you go to it and it'll say, you click on the test and say, you need lockdown browser. You're gonna say, well, I already have it. But if you click on it, it's gonna be two options. One is gonna say, download it, and one is gonna say, hey, do you already have it? Click on that because you already have it and it'll fire up. Lucima, you don't understand because you've already used the lockdown browser.
And how long do we have to complete the exam? Is
Asking
there
me
like,
tough questions? I think it's an hour and 20 minutes. Hold on, I'll tell you in a minute. Exam one, you got 2 hours, 35.
2 hours?
I give you more than that. You know, I give you so much. I give you enough time.
And what time is it released? Like, I know we have to complete it all in one sitting, but like, what,
Hold on.
I heard in one of your voiceovers, it was like 8 to something, but just because I like.
Yeah, it starts at 8 in the morning till noon the next day. So you got
Okay.
what, 30, 28 hours to accommodate
Okay.
people, their work schedule. But 28 hours, I mean, if you can't log on in the morning because of your work schedule, you get home at 4 or 5 o'clock. You got from that time all till noontime the next day.
Great, thank you.
And that's another issue too. I mean, giving you all that length of time. I'll be straight out, because of AI, it was giving people a lot of time to log on to AI. But you can figure all that out. If you're smart enough to use AI, you're smart enough to do the darn question without cheating, you know, but people do what they do, you know. I just try to level the playing field. So someone who's taking advantage of it, why should your grades suffer to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? But you have to live with yourself. You have to live with yourself. So I just do everything I can to level the playing field. Yeah, 28 hours, Maria. And your master's is where?
Simmons.
A lot of people do this. I had a cousin, people say, well, community college, it's a smart thing to do. You take your course at community college, it's a lot cheaper. You transfer it in. It's not where you start, it's where you finish up. I had a cousin, I tell this story a lot. She raised 3 daughters, went to BCC. From there, she went to Bridgewater. From Bridgewater, she went on to Leslie, got her master's. But I have friends of mine whose daughters go to UMass and the like, but they take courses in the summertime at BCC because the money is so cheap in comparison. Smart. It's a smart move. People have a tendency to look their nose down. Oh, community college. Well, guess what? I paid $600, but you paid $1,800. How smart are you? It's not where you start, it's where you finish up. Right, Danielle?
Yeah.
Danielle, tell us about yourself.
I am also a nurse, and doing the same program as Maria and also Carrie. So
You guys all kind of know each other, huh?
yeah, I actually worked
I
with
can see
Maria
you now
for a
all on
number
the
of
phone
years.
taking the test. What's the answer to the number 4? Yeah. If you all get the same grade and I'll get the same one wrong, I'm going to be looking at this kind of funny. Trust me.
No,
You
we
just
won't do that.
spilled the beans.
I know.
You
We're
three,
very
y'all get the same
trustworthy.
problem
We're
wrong.
nurses.
Huh?
We're nurses. We're very trustworthy.
Yeah. I'll be looking.
Okay.
Now you know why we have so many questions, because we're all type A personality.
I hate to get. No, it's, you got to ask questions. Even at my age, you can find people that go through life thinking they know everything. No, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, especially in today's society. And I'm not afraid. In fact, I asked the questions to someone. If you give me an answer and I don't understand, I'll ask you again. I'm not afraid. You know, people go through life. Well, I know that. No, you don't. They're so whatever. Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. As complicated as life is these days, especially in the thing, you know, even the doctor, my wife suffers from osteoporosis, and asking the doctor the right questions. Is she getting enough calcium? Is she getting enough vitamin D3? You know, I've gone to different support groups where you get information. It's out there, you know, if you ask the right question. Don't be afraid to ask. Right, Lucima? Is my pronouncing that right, Lucima? That stuff behind you looks dangerous. What is that stuff behind me? You?
Right there,
Yeah.
it's just the alarm.
And you work where now?
I manage a Dunkin' store in Shrewsbury.
A Dunkin' store?
Yes.
I thought there was a doctor's office. All that stuff I see.
No, this is my office, and now the
Yeah. So if we
camera
go
is
up there,
over
can we
there.
get some free Dunkin' if we go there? We mention your name.
Sure. I got
Ladies,
your free
anything
copy.
else?
Thank you
Kelsey
so
just
much
want
for
to
your
talk to
time.
us.
That's it, thank you.
Listen, if getting close to the exam, if there's any questions, because I'll do one again next Friday, which is the 6th, which will be good because it'll be 3 days prior to the exam. But feel free during the course of the week, if you have something that you're struggling with, just shoot me an email or post it in the discussion board. But best way is shoot me an email.
How many tests for the 10-week course?
4,
4?
2 for the 5-week, 4 for the 10-week. That's it. We can look at each other for a while. Nice talking to you. I recorded this. I'm going to share it. And it's difficult finding the optimum time that everybody can log in. So I picked a time that's the best for me, and it's 11 o'clock on a Friday. But I do record it, and I will share it, and I'll post it on YouTube, and folks can glean some. But the main thing is that you ladies have all familiar with Lockdown Browser, and you've already taken the practice test. So that's also, and you've got your calculators. You ought to be surprised how many people haven't done that. I mean, I've got 23 in each course. I've got a couple that haven't even been logged in yet. So that's another story. I've been doing this a lot of years. Kelsey, good talking to you, Celtics fan that you are.
You too. Thank you. I appreciate you answering my question.
That's what I'm here. That's what they pay me for, is to answer questions. And sometimes I do a good job. Other days I fumble through it. But feel free, if you have any other questions in the course of the week, to shoot me an email. Many times, as we get a little more in depth, sometimes what I'll do is actually create a little YouTube video specifically for a person. Follow me? If my explanation doesn't, or whatever, because it's going to get more difficult. Chapter 4 is going to be all that. And yeah, it's going to get more challenging. Like any course, you start out with the basic stuff. All right. And it gets a little more challenging. Nothing you ladies can't do. Other than that, have a great weekend, and we'll see each other online or something, Rona.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good
Have a
one.
good
Thank
day.
Take care.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.